Hi First Tee, welcome back to Legacy Golf Course. We're on week 3 now. This is a Birdie Eagle class, and our golf skill we're going to be working on today with 2 activities is going to be chipping and putting. Within those, our factor of influence is going to be target awareness. Now, breaking that down even a little bit further, we're going to be focusing on how distance can affect those target selections. All right, so really briefly, let's talk about our life skill as well. So for our Birdie kids, we've got 2 of our goal settings. We're going to talk about under your control. So under our control are things that we can control. So for instance, guys, can we control the weather? No. Can we control the course environment? No, not necessarily, but there are a few things we can control, and then that brings us into our golf rule. So we've got 2 parts of our rule when we talk about loose impediments and obstructions. So obstructions we can't control because those are man-made objects, but loose impediments, as far as leaves and twigs, if those are in our way, we can pick up those and move them. Okay. Our other one we're talking about for Birdie is goals that are specific. So making sure you're asking the right questions so we can make sure we get that narrowed down correctly. Right, so for our Eagle kids, we're working on understanding and appreciating diversity. So whether this is understanding what's different and we bring to the table, or understanding the differences in other people, what they bring to the table, so we can make sure we tie in all of our Eagles and make sure we are that go-to person and team with understanding diversity. All right guys, let's get going on the activities. We are at our chipping game for the day, and we are playing chip tic-tac-toe. As you can see, I've got Coach Mike and Coach Andrew here joining us as participants. All right, so if you can remember, we were talking about our golf fundamental was target selection in relationship to distance. So Coach Mike, if you were trying for the front square versus the back square, what would you do differently?
For the front square, I would make a similar swing, but just probably a little bit shorter is what I would do. So I'd make the swing just a little bit shorter as opposed to going to the back one. So I'd make sure that I got it a little bit shorter with the swing, a little bit smaller swing.
Perfect. And what club do you have, Coach Mike?
I have a sand wedge here.
Does that affect your target selection and how you control distance?
Yeah, most definitely. So sand wedge, the ball's going to go a little bit higher usually, maybe spin a little bit more. So I got to be conscious of that and make sure that I make the appropriate swing. And the ball is probably not going to roll as much with the sand wedge. So I got to make sure that I'm, flying the ball a certain distance to get it to my target there.
All right, well, thanks for that, Coach Mike. All right, so quick rules on the game. So you're going to take turns going, right? And then you can play it a couple ways. So one, if you just wanted a warm-up game, is that you wouldn't have to call your square. You could just get it in the square and get tic-tac-toe that way. But as you keep increasing, you can add elements to make it a little bit more advanced. So for instance, you could have participants call out their square. So if they don't get it in that square, then it doesn't count, and they have to keep retrying. That way we really focus on that element of target selection. So let's go ahead and start it a little more advanced and have the coaches call out their square. Once they own that square, it's theirs. The other opponent can't get in there. All right, guys, let's get going. Coach Andrew, how about you go first?
All right, Mike, I'm gonna go just for the middle square.
All right, middle square. Just a little short, so I'm gonna help him out, pass it back. Since he called out that middle one, it got the front center. That one doesn't count.
All right, I too will go for the very middle there.
There we go.
All right.
Good job, Coach Mike. All right, Andrew, which one are we going for here?
I'm gonna go right of Mike. Go to that middle right square.
All right, so how would you change your distance? That one went a little bit long on your target selection. What would you do differently this time?
That one, I think I pulled a little bit, which obviously will make you go a little bit further. I'll probably open the club face a little bit more and lighter grip. Probably what I would do.
All right, Coach Mike, you're up.
I'm gonna go for the front middle. All right, almost there.
All right, I'm gonna go for the left middle.
Well, I'm going to go for the back middle here. See if I can do it.
Back middle for the win. Whoa, looks like we're in the square. Good job, Coach Mike.
Thank you.
So that was the chipping activity. We just got a few wrap-up questions for the coaches after they finished. So Coach Andrew, did you have any specific goal in mind? Were you trying to get chip-tac-toe in a certain amount of golf balls? Or were you focused more on that target selection?
I mean, definitely using fewer golf balls than Mike was definitely the goal there. Definitely target was huge, aligning my feet, kind of following through towards my target and having the good distance judgment was huge, played a big part. I didn't successfully do it, but definitely was the goal going into it, was definitely thinking how far each shot needed to be.
Good, that's pretty specific, and that's what you guys want. So Coach Mike, how about the other way around on our under control? What were some things that were under your control and maybe some things that weren't in this game?
So under my control in this game obviously was how I swung, so how big my swing was under my control. The target I selected was under my control as well. Things that were not under my control was how Coach Andrew, what targets he went for, and also slope of the green, how the ball bounces, those aren't under my control either. I can make a swing and hope it ends up how I think it will, but how the ball bounces is not always under your control.
Perfect, thanks guys. And as you can see for our Eagle kids, both their answers were different, and that's what's important to understand, that we both see things a little bit differently, and it brings us to our bigger picture that way. All right guys, thanks for joining us here on the chipping. Let's go over to the putting. All right, FirstTee-Phoenix, we're here at our next activity. So this one is called Bocce Pudding. So what I want to go over first really quick is our rule. So if you remember, our rule is talking about impediments, loose impediments, and obstructions. So we've got a few objects out here on our putting green, and I want our coaches to kind of let us walk through what our different options are. So Coach Andrew, if you could talk about the objects on the green that are the obstructions and how we can handle that.
The obstructions would be this water bottle here.
Yes, exactly. So what makes the obstruction different from the loose impediment, Coach?
The obstruction's typically a man-made item that's put out here. So this water bottle, for instance, would be one. On tour, could be maybe the cameras that are out there watching all the pros would be probably the obstructions, towers and chairs, all of that.
Perfect. And what else, Coach, out here is another obstruction?
That putter head there, the cover. So this here, also a man-made item, not a piece of nature, so that would be an obstruction. Perfect,
thanks Coach. And Coach Mike, what are some examples then we have out here of loose impediments, and what are our options there?
So loose impediments we have, you can see, are the more natural objects. So we have rocks here is one thing. We have some little leaves, as you can see over here, and even a little kind of flower dandelion thing here too. It's also a very natural object that you find out there. So, and if you have these in your way, you can definitely feel free to move them out of your way, and it's not no penalty or anything. Just move them out of your way, and now you have a clear path to your target.
Perfect. Thanks, coaches. All right. So our game here, what we've got is this object. We're going to use it as our target. So I'll throw out the first round, but after that, whichever coach gets closest to the target is going to be the one who gets to throw the frisbee next, and they'll get to putt with our special silver ball. So what I'm going to do is throw this out for coaches first and let them give it a try. There we go. Coach Andrew, how about you go first?
Okay. I'm just going to move some loose impediments.
I might as well move some stuff while I'm out here too. I'll get the obstructions.
Remember guys, it's important that we can do this without penalty.
Target there.
looks like Coach Mike's a little bit closer on that one. So this next round means he gets to use our silver golf ball, and he'll be the one to put out our bocce target.
Oh yeah.
All right, Coach Mike, give that a toss.
Let's see here.
There we go, a little bit farther target for us. So real quick before we start, I just want to touch base on our life skills. So for Birdie class, what we're working on is goals that are specific and under control. So Coach Mike, what was specific about your last putt and how'd you get it so close? What was a goal you had in mind?
Well, I'm trying to get as close as I can to that frisbee out there. So making sure I'm getting my line, my distance correct as far as going to that target. So just making sure I make a good stroke, and definitely try to get it inside of Andrew's ball. It was probably about 2 feet, so I was trying to get the ball like about a foot or even closer than that.
Good. So you guys can see how he made it even more specific. When he was talking about closer to the hole, he got more specific when he mentioned how far away from the target he wanted to get. All right, guys, let's give round 2 a try. It's all right. Good try, Coach Andrew. All right, guys, one last try, because Coach Mike got this one a little bit closer. He'll get to keep the bocce target.
All right.
All right. So, Coach Andrew, what's some specific goal you have in mind before we start this 3rd round?
I would say definitely putting a good stroke on the ball and getting it a little closer than Coach Mike's.
Perfect. So if we're talking about the target, how close are you trying to be? Is it your goal to get it past the target? So make sure we get enough effort through. Are you okay kind of lagging it up short?
I would like to probably put it, pace-wise about a foot past the frisbee. So hitting through the frisbee almost.
Oh, perfect. All right, guys, so it's important to understand, as you see, the coaches had different answers for how they're handling their goals, but that both of them have different ideas just makes it different diversity. All right, Coach Mike, give it a throw. Oh, nice close target for everyone. All right, Coach Andrew, how about you go first this time?
Pretty good.
Okay. We got about 6-7 inches there. Oh, Coach Mike for the win.
I got lucky there.
All right, guys, so you can see an important difference on these targets, right? As we move the targets around, our ideas and goals change. All right, thanks for checking in. All right, First Tee, just a quick wrap up on what we learned today. So let's talk about our life skills. So the 2 that we're focusing on for Birdie are the specific goals and under your control goals. So what's some questions you guys have there? What's some ways we can make things more specific as far as setting goals for golf or school? And then what's some more things that are maybe under your control? What's under your control at home right now, for instance? And then appreciating diversity. So I want you guys to think about some ways that make you different, what ways that make other people different, and how that really helps us work together. All right, so let's talk real quick about our rule. So I want you guys to tell me the difference between a loose impediment and an obstruction, and then how we deal with those rules when on the course. All right, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on Facebook Live.